Starseeds, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for the Starseed collective. I haven't done a Starseed reading in quite some time, but I really feel called to do one today. So let's get into it and see what messages we have for the Starseeds. We got the Yang card coming out, card 1 in reverse. Other cards we have here for Starseeds. The Here and Now in reverse. Time to Go in reverse. And that's it. And then on the bottom of the deck we see Mending, which is really interesting because we've got card 1 and card 52. So the first card in this deck and the last card in this deck are showing up for you. So Starseeds, that's giving me sort of like the alpha to omega vibe, like the continuum of a continuum of energy where, you know, you've been here before and you're back and you're being guided to stay in the present moment, which might be tricky. I'm feeling it. I feel a lot of energy pulling me into some future worries and some anxiety about stuff that's not even here right now. So we need to stay grounded in the present. There's also this feeling that things may be ending, like this feeling of like things coming to an ending and then that's it, it's gone, you know, and that's such a limited feeling and such a limited way of looking at things. So I feel like we're healing a lot of things this week, coming on the heels of that beautiful full moon in Aries. It feels like we are tapping back into things. It feels like there may have been some temporary distractions where there was sort of a loss of the will to sort of keep going in a certain direction. And it feels like that will is returning. It feels like we are being guided back to our life path. We're seeing some cards come out here as I'm just shuffling. We see alone time, self-observance, and change. And so that really makes me feel like that's exactly the vibe right now, is that there may have been a lot of time spent in this isolated sort of mental place where we're really observing things from perhaps a place within ourselves. I'm picking up on Vega and Lyra here. I feel like we're really tapping into that soul timeline that has been here before. And it's almost like we need to sort of shake ourselves into this reality, into grounding into what's happening right now. And that is going to be what's most healing and grounding. It almost feels like some dissociative feelings where we're either venturing into the future or into the past. And sort of, it's almost like we need to remember that time is a very human concept and that everything is happening simultaneously. And there is no past, there is no future. Really, there is only right now. And there seems to be a shift occurring for us in terms of that understanding. And it's bringing in sort of this graduated feeling of earth. Look at that. This idea of really sitting in the present moment of earth right now as things are happening. And really feeling that energy of bringing things together, that mending energy. Just want to shuffle through one more time. Yeah, there's more Vega energy here. I might be reading for some Lyrans. We're reading for, looks like we're reading for some Lyrans here. We've got that homesick vibe. Like I'm saying, there's a part of us that's venturing into different places and times. It almost feels dissociative, and we really need to stay grounded in what's happening now. We're seeing that mirror reflection here. I think we're starting to really, for some of us here, we're really getting activated this week. Something has activated this group, this collective that I'm tapping into right now. There's some unfinished stuff that needs to get mended. We're in the midst of a very healing cycle, my friends, and It's time to get grounded. We need to get grounded into where we are and to sort of stop trying to dissociate and to, it's interesting seeing that homesick vibe, seeing that idea of needing some time on our own to see where is this unfinished business that we need to continue working on. Okay, very interesting. So we're seeing that calling all parts home. I really feel like we are sort of grouping. We're coming back to ourselves, but for some of us, it's kind of pushing things a little bit in a direction of dissociation. Again, another Lyra message here. We're stepping into our spiritual sovereignty. We're taking on that awareness of ourself. We're really doing some self-observation. I feel like we're coming online with certain memories of different, it almost feels like different talents, skills, abilities are coming online so that you can start your work. For whatever Starseed groups I'm reading for right now, it feels Lyran. I'm feeling Cirrus, Lyra, Andromedan. This almost feels like we're the group I'm reading for is coming online, and really needing to accept what comes through as being the truth. It's interesting. It's really pushing the envelope a little bit here in terms of what may be coming through, that self-observation, that awareness of the self, but really needing to sit in it and not try to dissociate from it. Don't try to escape it. Don't try to deny it. You've got to just sort of sit in it and trust it. Let's jump into the tarot cards. I'm fascinated to see what will come through here for the Starseed Collective, needing to stay grounded. There's the Devil. Yeah, not surprised to see some shadow work when we sit in that self-observation. This is giving us a chance to sort of change and graduate through some of these shadow aspects of the self and the soul, and not to dissociate, right? Really to look at ourselves in the mirror, seeing that mirror reflection, seeing the Two of Cups. This feels like really having a strong look at ourselves and being honest at what we see, without judgment, without criticism, without comparison, but just for grounding and for processing. There's that sun illuminating our path ahead and bringing in that awareness and our recognition that we may feel like we don't belong here right now. And there's that Five of Pentacles making us feel like we're left out in the cold, and that we don't feel necessarily like we belong here, but we do. We are here. You're feeling a little homesick. That's what's going on. You're feeling a little homesick, and there may be sort of an acceleration or an expansion of communication coming from home that's trying to guide you. But as it's guiding you, it's also sort of making you feel like you don't want to be here. That's sort of the energy here. Seeing the Magician is reminding us that we have all the tools to be successful with our unfinished business. We have all the tools to be successful with bringing in that light of awareness. And this is a time where our past is merging with our present and our future. Like I said, the concept of time is getting very muddy for some starseeds right now, and we're not seeing a big difference between the past, the present, and the future. It's all merging. And it's sort of showing us our sovereignty, our spiritual sovereignty, that idea of what work we're here to do. When I see that Eight of Pentacles, it's in reverse because I think we're sort of trying to escape it. We know we're being tasked with our mission, and it's starting, it's moving, it's growing, it's expanding, and yet we might be shrinking back. Wanting more time alone, wanting to be in isolation, wanting to be away from some of the strong energies in the external world. We might be retreating instead of coming forward. And I think that's why we're seeing the Yang energy in reverse. We really need to step up. We need to step up and sort of do our tasks as we feel them intuitively coming through. Seeing that Nine of Cups tells me that following an emotionally fulfilling path will lead you to the work that you've been sort of assigned, if you will, you know, to come to bring that energy forward. Now, there are a lot of, like we said, with that Devil card showing up, don't try to escape the shadow work here. We're seeing the Seven of Swords in reverse, which makes me feel like there could be some things happening on that ego level in our minds that are like sort of pushing and pulling us towards and away from things almost at the same time. And it seems like we need to sort of be grounded in order to know what is really happening here, you know? Because our energy is reflecting and it's sort of bringing on whatever it is that we're already focused on is expanding, and it's bringing more of it. So really being guided here to focus on the high vibe emotions, to keep things flowing in the sense of focusing on joy, abundance, prosperity, being grateful for being here, really saying the affirmation to yourself that I am happy to be here now. I am happy to be here now. I am grateful to be here now, you know, so that we can really tune into what it was that we came here to do. We didn't come here to hide. We didn't come here to play it small. And there's the Queen of Swords, seeking the truth, always seeking the truth, with the King of Pentacles in reverse on the bottom of the deck. So really needing to focus ourselves on achieving our goals, knowing that it's possible, knowing that that's why we came here at this time. And so seeing the King of Pentacles in reverse kind of gives away how we're really feeling right now and where we need shift, where we need adjustments. This could be a time where we're obsessing about the self instead of thinking about the collective, and really focusing more on what do I need versus what am I here to do? How can I be of service? So it's this idea of really shifting from the self to the collective, really shifting away from focusing on what do I need to how can I be of service in the here and now? How can I be of service in the here and now? Let's clarify some of this to see if we can get a little more information here for the Starseeds. Why is the Devil card here? Yeah, because our energy is not focused. Our energy is not focused, so then we're more at risk of sort of dissociating and doing things to help us escape instead of focusing our energy on our task of the now. It's a Pentacles night, so he brings that message of focus on the daily tasks, focus on being grounded, get that energy focused, right? Don't get distracted. Why is that Two of Cups here? Because the High Priestess is working with you. Your higher self is here, guiding you, working with you, reflecting back to you what needs to be reflected back to you so that you can see things clearly. Why is the Sun here? Yes. The Sun is trying to illuminate to you that you got to keep going. This isn't the time to sort of feel that resignation, that giving up. Don't give up. You got to keep going. Trust your higher self is guiding you, and to surrender to that, to surrender to this idea here. When this lands on the Five of Pentacles, it makes me feel like surrender this idea that you have to fit in, surrender comparison, surrender this idea that you will always be left out, that you will never feel belonging. Surrender that. That is a game that is happening in your mind. And it's interesting. It's a game in the sense of, not in a lighthearted way, but a game in a sense to see, will you succumb to that, or will you hold your vision? And I feel like we're seeing the Yang card come out here in the very beginning of your reading to remind you that we are born with this strong will. And that will can carry you through and give you an incredible amount of confidence, because you do have all the tools. You came here prepared for this, right? You were born for this. Star seeds. Why is the Magician here? Yeah, to remind you not to fight these battles in the external world. Dismiss these battles. You need to focus on your task of how to be of service, not of how to show that you're right. Dismiss that. That is a game of the ego trying to sort of fool you into thinking that we're separate from one another. We're not separate. It's the same actor playing all the parts. That's something I've always sort of held in my mind when things get to a place where I feel like I'm an individual struggling here in this earth plane. No, we are all here to play out a certain role in this story, and so comparing yourself to others and feeling like you have competition, that's sort of the low vibe of this situation, right? To look at things and say, it's me versus you, and if I'm going to succeed, I have to take you out. No. that is one way of looking at things, but I say no to that because it instinctually and intuitively just feels like that is not the point of this. That is not the point of our presence here. We're here to raise the vibe, not to fight against other people's vibes. This is about sort of attracting people by having a high vibe, not by fighting in the low vibe. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now, let's see here. We see the Page of Wands. So really guiding you to discover your path by rising above this idea that you have competition, that you need to compare yourself. Really being that visionary, tapping into that creative vision by sort of stepping back from the battles that you might feel like you need to have, trying to mend things instead of trying to disturb how it's coming through. Let it come through as it's coming through, and it's interesting. I feel like there's this sort of shadowy element that we're all dealing with, where we have this comparison-itis, where we're looking around and saying, am I doing enough? Am I doing what I need to be doing? And that is distracting us from doing what we came here to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, by overly focusing on questioning yourself, it's distracting you. That is a distraction. It's keeping you from seeking your path. And there's the 10 of Pentacles. I feel like that's coming through to say to you that the ground beneath your feet is solid, and that you have everything you need to do what you're doing right now, and sort of not to doubt yourself. Don't let that creepy doubt feeling step in to tell you that there is no stability here for you. You've got the Ace of Pentacles, which is in reverse, because I feel like there is a little bit of pessimism circulating us right now, when really we have everything we need. There's that 9 of Pentacles coming on the heels of that 10 of Pentacles, just to remind you that you do have everything you need, but don't keep it to yourself. This is your time to shine and to raise the vibe by raising your vibe. You don't have to fight people. You don't have to battle people. You don't have to convince anyone of anything. Your job here is to raise your vibe, which will raise the vibes elsewhere simply by attraction. It's not a fight. It's not a battle. This is just about you finding your truth so that you can raise your energy, bringing up your vibe, which will bring up the vibe. And that is part of the work. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. It sort of just makes sense as I'm saying it. But, this overthinking is the problem. Do you know, this is the issue. Examining and analyzing things by comparison and fearing outcomes and worrying about what's going to happen next, instead of sitting in the now, trusting all will be well, and working on the self. If everyone focused on raising their vibration, imagine how different things would be. If we didn't worry about comparison or, this idea of competition, it's very interesting what would happen. And there's Judgment on the bottom of the deck. bringing in that verdict for you, bringing in that good news, bringing in that karmic outcome to show you the guidance you need to see right now, to show you your creative vision. It's almost like you just have to get out of your own headspace so that you can tap into that vision in the now. Don't escape the now. Don't run and hide. Don't say, I don't want to be here. If anything, be grateful that you're here. You chose to come right now. So we need to sort of step into that vibe of gratitude and to say, show me if I don't know. If you're not certain where your path lies, show me. Show me my path. Show me. I am grateful to be here. Show me where I can be of service. Okay, to close your reading, let's pull an oracle card to see what is the highest guidance for starseeds right now in the present moment. What does my starseed collective need guidance on? Oh, that came out fast. It's the Akashic Records here, saying clear old stories, release past lives, and be free. So this is really calling you to discover yourself. Bottom of the deck is the Hathor Light Codes, which is giving you that light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. This is very interesting. This is a time where we are getting that upgrade. We are stepping into this power grid. It's almost like a grid that's giving us that upgrade, right? And it's giving us the ability to clear old stories so that we can stay in the present moment, releasing any of those past life triggers that will enable you to feel free, to have the will to be here now, to be grateful to be here now, so that you can tap into that path that you're meant to be on. And really keep in mind that comparisons does nothing but make you feel like you have competition, or you have, that you're either better than or less than someone. It's an illusion. And so by stepping away from those comparisons, by stepping away from fearing outcomes, by stepping into gratitude, by stepping into being present now, that is where you need to be right now. That is where you're being called to be here. And I feel like that's going to help bring things together so that you're really able to see what path you're meant to express, right? What is your creative vision, Starseed? And it won't be like anyone else's. So it's for you to discover for yourself. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's resonated for you and been helpful. If it has, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, my friends, take care. I'm sending you so much love and light and looking forward to reading for you again soon.